Hello, my friends. I'm back. We're back. My name is Brendan Mitchell. I make a video every day. A lot of those videos are about losing 80 pounds, which I clearly haven't done yet. Put the video out. I'll put the video right here. And some of the videos are more like this, off the cuff. I am Brendan. I am making content. I'm a writer. I am a sweet and a good boy. And sometimes a bit of a bad boy. The fuck is this intro? Today, we're going to ask ourselves a very important question that I think that you should probably ask yourself too. Can you measure your mental health with a numeric value? Can you use a line graph? And today, the email I got from Gabe Newell, the guy who invented Steam, yes, he emailed me directly. It told me, yes, you can. You may not care about video games, and I think that's perfectly fine. I think you may still find this interesting. What Steam is a library Amazon for video games, okay? Think of it like that. And my 2024 was pretty interesting and pretty rough, hence the creation of this channel. And this was pretty revealing. It was certainly something I immediately felt like I couldn't let anyone see. I thought, oh, this is not good. And that's despite Steam being very clever. Steam's very clever at kind of hiding what it's telling you. It tried to makes it look like, when something says 10% of 100%, it feels like the 100% is good, right? You go, oh, I have 10% of something, and 100% is always good. 100% is good. It sounds a lot better than saying you did this for 1,000 hours. Saying you played this for 80% of the time. That sounds kind of positive. So Steam is very clever with this. We're going to get into this. I think it's very fun. And I guess, as an aside, about video games, right? I always played video games in my life. My childhood, I could probably define my entire childhood and life by waiting to play a game. I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. I know I'm not the only one that, even who had a pretty active social childhood, who doesn't remember their childhood, is just going, okay, well, after this is done, at least I get to play video games. Like, that's pretty much the makeup of my entire childhood and a great deal of my adult life. When I was young, video games were my escape. It's a bit of a simplification. It's a bit more than an escape. It's also a great way of turning off the thoughts in your head and kind of allowing yourself to kind of get lost. Now, in this sense, video games for me are very similar to writing in the way that they distract my brain. I like them very difficult, very complex, very engaging. It takes up all of my processing power. I have no other thoughts. Time just melts away. There's too much of me absorbed in my world. I'm a person that often goes off in their head. So for me, it's perfect for that reason. It really shuts off the valve. You know what I mean? All of that focus, that hyper focus really shuts everything out. It's one of the reasons I love writing and why I'm good at it, and it's one of the reasons I like to play video games. Now, as an adult, it's tough to say. It's tough to say. I still play a ton of games, don't get me wrong. And it's tough to say how good or bad it is for me because I know it's good to have fun. I'm not putting that down, but there's a lot of things I could be doing that I should be doing. So it's hard to feel like I should be playing a game. At least in this sense, when we look back on this, I think it will be a little bit revealing. And we will get a strong answer, and you will be able to see within the graph, within Steam's data, you'll be able to go, oh, something bad happened that month. And I'm sure you have similar things. I'm sure if you look back, if you had a Steam graph of all your playtime, you go, oh, that was June. You know what happened to me in June? And you could kind of look at it like that. So let's get into it, shall we? Shall we take a gander at how Bren's decided to burn his short period on Earth? I think the best way to handle it is first to analyze the way Steam kind of tricks you here. So right out of the gate, these are pretty wild numbers, right? I mean, this is 88 games played. By the way, it's 88 games played, 88 new games, not playing a game 88 times. I don't see how that's possible. When I look at this number, I genuinely, 60? Oh, I see. Okay, so I have 60 new games. And then, but 88 games played in total, that's still insane. I didn't even know there were 60 games. So I don't know how that's possible. I believe it. I have to believe it. 446 achievements, that's kind of nebulous. I don't chase achievements. I don't really give a shit about stuff like that. So I guess this is a lot, right? These are the games I played. You can see I've got a taste, Baldur's Gate. I played all the old ones. Warhammer, I'm not a Warhammer guy. I always thought it was very lame. I would see like big blue robots and I was like, this shit sucks. But this is a complex, really well-written computer RPG, and I got obsessed with it. Dark and Darker turned out to be very fun. Extraction game, I got really into it. So notice what they do here. 10% of playtime. Oh, isn't that cute? 10%. 100% is good. 10% is a big piece of 100. That's good. No time being recorded anywhere here. I don't. What does that mean? 10% of what number? It's completely unfounded. There's nowhere here where it says it. Of course, this is one way of looking at it. It says, how you compare to others. And by the way, others are losing. If this is a race, I destroyed everybody. It says the median for achievement is at 13. I got 446. What is the median? I guess it's including people that downloaded one game, right? It's kind of like, a lot of people, they go, a lot of people never get past the first level of a game because you're looking at data and a lot of people play a game, download it, and never play it again, or download it, play it, and never play it again. So this is kind of where the medians are coming in. Medium longest stream of playing consecutive days is 6, and I have 83, so I'm crushing it there. But let's jump to what's really the kind of the meat and potatoes here, is the monthly graph. Ooh, that tells a story, doesn't it? Uh, can anyone point out where Brendan ran into a bit of trouble in his life? Was it maybe around here? Was it perchance between May and June? So, how do we find out the math of like how much games I was playing? How much was I running away from my life and becoming a cartoon? Well, I know I played 10% of my playtime was Warhammer Rogue Trader. So the way I would find out what 10% is, because I only played it last year and never played it again, would be go to Warhammer Rogue Trader. I played it for 178.4 hours. So 10% is 178.4 hours. That should be an easy math to do. It's 1,784 because 10% of 100, yada, yada, yada. So I played for 1,784 hours. That's how much video games I played last year according to Steam. And that's, by the way, not including playing games off Steam, which I did do last year. I got pretty heavy into World of Warcraft Season of Discovery, which is not recorded on Steam. So we could add a lump on top of that, but we won't for the sake of my dignity. So if I played 1,784 hours of Steam games, 178.4 of those hours were just Rogue Trader. If you flattened that 1,784 hours out over the course of the year, it would be around 5 hours a day. Now that's already, we're talking about a number. Like, I should bleep that whole section out. Like, that, none of this should be recorded. It should be illegal to talk about this out loud. But that's not even the case. It's worse than that. Because January through May, this only accounts for 18% of my playtime. 82% of my playtime is loaded into the second half of the year. I did the math in the other box. So that would mean that between June and December, my playtime was actually 8 hours a day. So I was working full time. I was working full time plus overtime. I was working 8 hours a day. What does that say? What it says most of all is that this video has to be hidden. That I should private this video the moment I post it. I mean, I could do like a run through. I mean, is this what your playtime looks like? There's no shot most people, I know I've blasted past the fucking median. So, I mean, this is nuts, this playtime. And this is the playtime of someone that if you heard the internal voices in my head the moment the game's turned off, you might turn the game back on as well, if you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, I think that what we should all take away from this is that I'm a gamer, first and foremost. January, clearly a loaded month here on the timeline. Mortal Kombat, I mean, we might as well take the time to review. We could bang out speedrun 50 video game reviews while we're here. I got really into fighting games this last year. Is the first time ever getting into fighting games. I got very addicted to fighting games. Mortal Kombat is terrible. Tekken is fine, but I'm not a Tekken player. Street Fighter 6, amazing. I'm a Street Fighter player. Power World, games like this are cute. I can't really get into them. I can't get into the survival games. They just bore the shit out of me after a second. These are like hyper nerd games. Final Fantasy 14 I keep thinking I'll like, but I realize I just don't like games like this. I just can't get into it. Cyberpunk, it's like something you play every year just for a little while. Morrowind, of course, a classic. The other games I touched on, but it's like, what, am I going to really play these? No, not really. And again, these were the good months, right? These were the good years. I played a little Helldivers when it came out like everybody else. Nothing really else to comment on there. What else have we got here? Let's see. We've got Dragon's Dogma 2 is ass. I thought it was going to be really great, and it just looks like shit, plays poorly, incredibly bland, was an absolute bummer of a game. I love how I have to move myself back. I'm a goddamn master of this. I'm a professional, folks. Again, more fighting games, kind of bouncing in and out of different new things. All these first played, I'm trying to like figure out new things. And then here we start to enter the dark zone. Now we're entering the pit. We're falling into the pit of darkness here. I begin to get into really playing games. Something happens, a critical moment occurs, and I start really jamming out. Kingdom Come Deliverance, I played for the first time. I played this game on hardcore mode where there was no map, no compass, nothing, and it was my first time playing it, and I spent about 40 hours lost in the woods. I had a blast, but it gets old pretty quickly, but it's an excellent game. I had a lot of fun. I love how this is like supposed to be about my mental health, but I'm just reviewing the games. What do you want me to tell you? Here's my mental health review. I played video games for 8 hours, technically, for 8 hours, but more than that because I was also playing World of Warcraft, for 8 hours a day for almost half a year. I was also doing other things, like drinking. For example, Dark and Darker is a game that I predominantly played while hammered. Maybe not hammered, that's probably dramatic. I predominantly played it while drinking. It was a drinking game. I think my character in that game's name is actually 8 beers deep, or like 3 shots in. I named all my characters like these dumb names, real cute. I was like, my life is falling apart. I was like, I'll make a witty character name. Very good. Excellent life choices I've made that have led me to this place. Remember, what is this called? Gridlock or some Deadlock. Fun. I had fun playing these. Black Myth Wukong got a lot of reputation, a lot of word about it. I thought it was fine. Just another of the Elden Ring Dark Souls style games. I didn't have much else to say about it aside from that. Guilty Gear is very fun as far as fighting games go. Rogue Trader, now we're in the depths. Needless to say, throughout all these months, my wife was not very happy. But when I started to like get into Warhammer and really start to like figure out the lore and like mod, I was modding old Dawn of War 1, old Dawn of War 2. I mean, we're in the throes of a severe episode at this point, right? This is where all the walls are crumbling down. Babel has fallen. Resident Evil 4. This is October. I always like to play spooky games. Played some Resident Evil 4. Metaphor I loved. I just couldn't finish it. I will someday, but my attention span wouldn't allow me to finish Metaphor. Sometimes I just need a little extra. I was clearly in a strategy mood when I played these games. Now we go down here a little more. I replayed Dragon Age Origins because I was so pissed off at how bad a lot of these games were. Got deep into Stalker. Oh my god, I played so much damn Stalker. Old Euro jank, but somehow incredibly immersive. I mean, I was drinking vodka, eating sausage, playing Stalker. That's in the far future when I'm healthier, because I'm probably going to drink again in life. In the far future when I'm healthier, I'd love to do a Stalker stream. When I'm healthy enough to have alcohol without completely destroying, the lives of everyone around me. And we go down further. Path of Exile 2 came out. This is, I think I banged this for about 200 hours in like a single month, which do the math on that. I don't even know. And here we are. Now, this is my congratulations here. It doesn't say anything. It says members of your Steam family. It asks me to share. Who in the name of God would you share something like this with? And this is nothing short of heartbreaking. It's funny. It's like look at all the toys you played with. It's like, yeah, but I never left the toy room. That's the problem. You can't get stuck in the toy room. And don't get me wrong. It's like when it comes to games, I think that video games in a large way are responsible for the type of person that I am. When I was a little kid, as an aside, when I was a little kid, I had horrible night terrors. I had a pretty, not to be dramatic, but I had a bit of a rough childhood, and there were certain things I couldn't handle. One of those things I couldn't handle were darkness of any kind. I would have extreme episodes of fear if I had to go to sleep alone in the dark. I mean, incredible, spine-tingling, cold-sweated fear. And I would have horrible night terrors. What a night terror is it's different from a nightmare. You wake from it, and all of the physiological responses you would have to the event of your dream that normally your brain stops the biochemistry from happening, like an adrenaline dump, all of those things would still happen to me. So I would wake up fully convinced that what had happened in my dream had happened in real life. With all of the adrenaline pumping through my body, I'd get super sick and have to go to the bathroom almost all the time, constantly, because of how brutal these night terrors were. And I remember them all. I remember them picture perfect. Granted, I understand how memories work, so they may be a little different than they actually were. Um, but I was deathly afraid of the dark. I could never go to sleep alone. It drove everyone nuts. I mean, it's difficult to put into words the kind of fear I would feel. To like create a very simple analogy, when I experienced something in adulthood that was, one of the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And the horror and fear I felt when that happened to me, I had felt a version of it before in my night terrors. They were almost one for one identical, the same level of fear and intensity, and one was real and one wasn't. Um, I know that's a weird way of putting it, but that's the best way I could do. And what I'm getting to is then I rented Kingdom Hearts when I was a kid. I rented Kingdom Hearts, and I remember my brother being like, "What is this? What is this gay shit? What is a kid with Donald and Goofy?" And of course, he ended up loving it too. But I remember the first night I brought home Kingdom Hearts, I was playing it in the living room, and it got dark, and I was alone in the living room, and everyone had gone to bed, and I was still up playing it, and it completely didn't occur to me. It completely didn't occur to me. And all the motifs in that game are about darkness, and it's a very very blunt, metaphor, non-symbolic, non-metaphorical, literal, like a monster made of darkness attacking you, which probably triggered some part of my subconscious, and the fact that I was deathly afraid of being alone or near the dark. And I stayed up all night playing it. And from then on, it really, like, I just wasn't afraid anymore of the dark. It just completely fixed me. And I think I ended up basing a lot of my interpretations of things around me off of the way the characters in that game behaved. So these things have a huge effect on you. They can have an enormous effect on your mind when you're a little kid, and they could have an enormous effect on you for the better. So video games are clearly deeply, intensely connected to my being and who I am. Um, I always thought that video games was something I would never want to write or work on because they're so intensely collaborative, and I'm such a obsessive person when it comes to what I write and what I do. And the idea of sharing that space, that creative space, has always not meshed with me in any way. But I guess now that as I've gotten older, it's something I think I would like to do and maybe even excel at. God knows I've put in the reps for playing them, but I guess all of this is to say that I know that when I do something like this, I know when I look at this very silly, huge line graph of playing video games as if it were a job, I know that I'm looking at me in a state of extreme, like, severely, a very bad place. And I'm not good at, like, having a good emotional register of where I'm at or why I'm there. So this is kind of funny because I look at this and I go, "My God, I was doing this much. I was doing this much. I was playing the shit this much." And it's funny how it works because I wasn't actively, avoiding anything in my mind, or at least I thought I wasn't. But clearly, there was a lot that I was escaping from. And absolutely, every time I played these games, the moment I turned them off, the flood came back, and I remember, you shouldn't be doing this. You're supposed to be doing this and that and this and that instead. In conclusion, 2025. Catch me in my 2025 recap. I don't know what it's gonna look like. Hey, like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, the 2025 recap's gonna be fucked. It's gonna look really fucked up. I don't know. I mean, I had fun half the time. That's another thing. Was I having fun? Not really. I mean, are you having fun if the, like, period of fun is bookmarked, or bookended rather, by extreme uh like terror or extreme misery? Like, if you know the moment you hit the off button, all the shit goes right back onto your face. Like, are you having fun? Because I know that that's not real fun. It's temporary. It's a drug. It's drugs. It's a temporary good feeling, but you're putting off something that you're supposed to do now. This all isn't to, like, discourage playing games, but my God, if this isn't a look into the mind of someone that, as I've said before in videos, I will turn anything into an addiction. Um, it's it saddens me that I did this, but it's a new year. It's a new year. Steam Replay 2025 coming right at you. If you've spent more time than me playing games, comment below, and then I will DM you or find you and find a way for you to prove it, because I don't believe you. I suspect that there is not a single viewer in that will see this video that has played this much. Maybe that's insane to say, but I genuinely think it might not be possible. Maybe I've lost my mind as I say that. Maybe I'm realizing there are levels to the game. But sound off in the comments. What does your Steam play look like, huh? Give me your rundown of how many hours you threw into, that you took from God and put into a toilet. That's it for today, folks. If you like this video, if you want more, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's, it's a silly one, it's a reflective one, but it's a funny one. It's not it's, worse things have happened. I've done worse things with my time. I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow for another day. A Steam Recap 2024.